Claressa gives him money.
What? It was a card game. Is that what they would do with that?
Yes.
Well, I'm saying that's how they paint our narratives. But I will tell you something though. Pat pays my mortgage. He pays my car insurance and my car note. And what else do we do? I haven't paid for a flight or for a hotel, and I don't know how.
Before we even get into this, I have to say something about this Claressa Shields situation just doesn't sit right. The more she talks, the more things start to feel off. At first, it seemed like regular internet chatter rumors flying around. Clips circulating, people forming opinions without the full picture. But now it's gone beyond that. People are starting to notice patterns, contradictions, and details that just don't line up. A lot of the conversation has centered around her relationship with Papoose. There have been rumors claiming that Claressa is the one financially supporting him, that she's the one providing money and maintaining the lifestyle. But she pushed back on that narrative hard. According to her, that's not true at all. She says it's actually the opposite, that Papoose is the one taking care of her. And she didn't just say it once, she repeated it multiple times. She made it very clear that he pays for her home, her car, her insurance, her travel, her hotels, basically everything. She emphasized it strongly, saying that's what a real man does. Now here's where people start raising eyebrows. It's not just what she said, it's how often she said it. When someone keeps repeating the same point over and over, it starts to feel less like a statement and more like something they're trying to prove. Because when something is real and solid, it usually speaks for itself. It doesn't need constant reinforcement. Things really picked up after her appearance on The Breakfast Club. At first, everything seemed normal. She was relaxed, laughing, joking around, sharing personal stories. The energy felt positive. She even talked about moments like Papoose's birthday, how he had thoughtful gestures prepared, including a rap and a song. It painted a picture of a happy, well-put-together relationship. But then, certain details started to stand out. There was a moment during a story involving a game about cars and money where things took a strange turn. It wasn't anything major on the surface, but it fell off. Then she went right back into listing everything he pays for again. And that repetition didn't go unnoticed. Because at some point, people stop just listening, they start analyzing. Another major issue is inconsistency. At one moment, Claressa said she didn't even know a certain person involved in the situation. Later, she switched it up and said they were actually friends. That's not a small detail, that's a major contradiction. When the foundation of a story shifts like that, it makes people question everything else connected to it. Bloggers caught on to this quickly. They started breaking down not just her words, but her tone, her delivery, and how she responded under pressure. There was one moment in particular that stood out. She was asked a simple question, whether there was any tension at home. It should have been an easy yes or no. But instead of answering directly, she avoided it. She shifted the conversation and started talking about what a real man is supposed to do. That kind of deflection raised red flags. Because when someone dodges a straightforward question, it usually suggests there's something they don't want to address. If everything is truly fine, a clear answer would have been enough. Now let's look at another angle that people might not be saying out loud, but they're definitely thinking it. Attention. Before all of this started, neither Claressa nor Papoose was dominating headlines like this. Then suddenly, everything changed. Interviews, viral clips, tension, reactions, it's everywhere. And what keeps happening? The same names keep coming up. Especially 50 Cent. Now here's where things get confusing. Claressa said she wasn't trying to give anyone else attention or a platform. But if that's the case, why keep mentioning the same people over and over? That contradiction didn't sit well with a lot of viewers. At the same time, 50 Cent handled things very differently. Instead of jumping into direct arguments or going back and forth publicly, he took a more strategic approach. He didn't overreact. He didn't get loud. He let things play out while subtly shifting attention back onto her. And now, look at where things stand. She's the one on the defensive. She's talking about legal action, cease and desist letters, and protecting her reputation. But here's the catch: the more she responds, the more people start questioning her. Instead of calming things down, it's almost like it's adding fuel to the fire. So now we have to ask a bigger question. Is she being dishonest? Or is she simply losing control of the narrative? Because those are two very different situations. One suggests intention, the other suggests pressure. But either way, it doesn't look good publicly. There's also something else people are starting to notice, and that's the shift in their friendships. If you pay attention, the dynamic seems different now. There are fewer public interactions, fewer visible connections, and even some indirect posts that hint at tension. In today's world, social media tells a story of its own. When the likes stop, the posts disappear, and the public support fades. That usually means something happened behind the scenes. And that kind of shift rarely happens for no reason. Now you've got tension on multiple levels: relationships, friendships, and public perception all happening at the same time. That doesn't feel like coincidence. It feels like a pattern. And patterns are what people pay attention to. To be clear, none of this takes away from Claressa Shields' talent. Inside the ring, she's elite. That's not up for debate. The concern isn't about her boxing, it's about everything happening outside of it. Because when you look at her recent interviews, there's a trend. She's constantly explaining, constantly defending, constantly revisiting the same points. And that doesn't come across as confidence. It feels more like damage control. Now here's where things get even deeper. What if this isn't about proving anyone wrong? What if it's about validation? Think about it. The constant need to explain, to respond, to correct the narrative that usually doesn't come from a place of calm confidence. It often comes from pressure building up over time. And when you combine everything: a public relationship, nonstop rumors, pressure from figures like 50 Cent, bloggers analyzing every move, and even friendships starting to shift, it creates an environment where everything is under a microscope. Every word, every action, every reaction. So now the focus changes. It's not just about who's telling the truth anymore. It's about how long everything can hold together. Because situations like this don't just disappear. They escalate, they build, and eventually something gives. And if we're being honest, this might not even be the peak yet. If more receipts come out, if more people start speaking, if more inconsistencies show up, this could turn into something much bigger, very quickly. Right now, it might look like internet drama, but it feels deeper than that. It feels like something is unfolding in real time. So let me leave you with this. Do you think Claressa is being completely honest? Or is this situation starting to reveal something deeper beneath the surface? Because one thing is clear. This story isn't over. It's still developing. And the narrative could shift again at any moment. So don't assume this is the end. This might just be the beginning.